everyone. Just wanted to make a quick video about some pretty revealing symbolism that I've noticed over the past week or so. So back in July 16th of this year, I had a dream. It was a very nice dream of a group of us preparing for dinner with the Lord. And I did see somebody, a YouTuber that I follow, Jehushua's servant was there. We were going to go to this dinner with the Lord, and we were wearing these black like tops, nicer type tops, and they were very similar, and they were kind of meshy, so I kind of was looked at some scriptures about, nets and being kind of tied together somehow. So I thought that was nice, and I went over to her channel to see if, there was anything. Well, I was looking for a meshy top, but I couldn't really find it. But then I just started, seeing if I was drawn to any videos. And then I saw the I Pet Goat video, and I had seen, some analysis of this really disturbing cartoon before, and that was before I really understood a lot of the symbolism in the constellations that I've been learning about over the last few months. So in that video, the Lord instructed her to watch that I Pet Goat cartoon, and she summarizes it as, being the rise of the Antichrist, and I agree with that. And then as I was learning some more stuff about it, last night when I went to bed, I was just like, well, there's other threads that I'm working on at the moment. I don't really make a video until I have a lot of information kind of related to a topic. And I just went to bed and I said, Lord, just let me know, give me confirmations for it, whatever I should do next. I wasn't really sure. And this morning I woke up and Amanda had just put out this video about the Scorpion, the B666 Judgment and Revelation. So that it'll make sense later on, immediately caught my attention, and I decided I would work on this video today. So let's go to the analysis of the symbolism. So this cartoon was released in June 25th of 2012. So that's right at the beginning of Gemini, 4 days exactly after the summer solstice. And I found an article here. That's where it says the date. And it says the video's true meaning and message is found in its title and the name of the production company, Heliofant. It's simply the sun as teacher, or the solar logos as a revealer of the mysteries. Okay, so Helios is the Greek personification of the sun, and Hierophant is interpreter of arcane teachings. And it talks about sun traveling through the zodiac. So it's the first sequence, all has to do with the rabbit, which is the Lepus constellation, the exit, and then it lands on a coin. So here, everything's lit. I believe she represents the bride that is already under protection. Okay, but she's still holding on to the apple, which I believe represents sin. So here is the exit sign. Here is the rabbit. As soon as it went dark, those were the two elements of light besides her. she threw away the apple, so she's giving up, I think, the world of sin, or she's, aware that the Lord paid for our sins, so she doesn't need to hold on to it. This landed on the coin here, which is important. And then as soon as that happened, Obama is freaking out, basically. He starts to sweat. There. Okay, so the first rabbit we saw when the lights went dark and the exit are kind of telling us some time there. And if we look at Stellarium around the summer solstice, so here's Lepus, and even though it looks like it's in Taurus, it's actually the first Decan constellation of Gemini. But you can see it there, it's right in between the two. That's a better view there. Lepus here, right in between the two. Here are the horns of Taurus. This is the position of the summer solstice on the 21st. And here's Gemini. So, and it also reminds you of like the Matrix, follow the white rabbit. Something about like a portal or a gateway there. And then it ended on the British coin, which, as you'll see later, is actually showing the British crown. So I'll play that next.
Here you're going to see Obama is nervous. They pan out. He's got this bead of sweat that rolls down his face as the camera zooms in on him and then zooms away from him as he's sitting in the classroom, wide-eyed and very nervous. Now, why am I showing this to you? Because, in fact, Obama is very nervous about this new decision. And I want you to look on the wall, and this is Psalm 23. Now, Psalm 23 has 6 total verses in it. Psalm 23 has 6 total verses. This is 623 backwards. This is the date of the Brexit decision. It happened on June 23rd, 623. And this is what we see on the wall in iPetGoat. Psalm 23. Now, what else do we have here? Well, when we zoom in on this coin, this is the British coin, and I want to just confirm to you that that is in fact what you're looking at. This is a zoomed in view of this. And there you see the British crown coin with Obama stepping on it.
So this British crown coin was actually released on Nisan 1 of this year, which is the start of the religious year. I found that very interesting. So here it is, June 23rd, which he, tied to Psalm 23. That was very interesting. And then here we see the new 12-sided 1-pound coin was introduced into circulation March 28th, 2017. If we go to the Jewish calendar, there it is. It's the 1st of Nisan. So very interesting. I think that's telling us, okay, yes, the decision was voted on June 23rd. But, pay attention to the coin, and the coin is the start of the religious new year. Other interesting things about this coin is that it actually has 12 sides. So it's not perfectly round like it was before. It reminds us of the zodiac. So it's saying, pay attention to the calendar, that pay attention to the zodiac. Also, I found it very interesting that it says JC on it. I researched why that was, and I think it's the person that created her image, her portrait. Their initials are JC, but come on, I don't think there's really coincidences. She's probably chosen on purpose. So that was really interesting. And what was really intense, it's like there's some more hidden symbolism that I found here.
As the most secure pound coin that Britain has ever had, it's got a new system which keeps it extra super secure called Isis. I-S-I-S. The name of the Egyptian goddess who had an ear for the wealthy, for the aristocrats, for the leaders. So, Isis, the goddess of the wealthy, who is normally depicted as a golden statue, a symbol of opulence.
Now moving on to some additional scenes in the video. Notice that right after Obama was sweating with the coin, and then the Psalm 23, here we can see in this tower, it's the midnight hour. And here you can see the destruction starting to happen. Now pay attention to this guy here. He is Anubis. Now here we see a star around the Statue of Liberty, and then this appears to be a dog. And notice that this portal here is closing. So that portal was what was casting that shadow of the star before. So the very first thing that happened was we saw this figure of Anubis at the front of the boat, the vessel that was transporting the Antichrist that you'll see later on. So that narrow passage looks like a keyhole, the one through which Anubis passed, and this is punctuating the scene as the Silver Gate transit. The false Messiah is in the boat. He's still in a trance at that point. So this is a ritual that is invoking and facilitating the coming of Horus. And then the Statue of Liberty is also signaling the Silver Gate. The ice formation is the head of a dog that we saw, which is pointing to the celestial constellation Canis Major. And so that's Anubis. It looks like the head of a dog. And the pedestal appears a star, so the dog, star. And that reminded me of a dream that I had of the whale dog. And that's, my dream, it signified danger because the dog became kind of like a whale. So it's interesting that that is how the Antichrist is being depicted as arriving. In scenes and texts of ancient Egypt and promotions of the golden age of the pharaohs, Isis and Anubis are often pictured together. Okay? And the next image, where we saw the star that was casting the shadow here, is looking into the Silver Gate, establishing the celestial heavens as our frame of reference. A portal momentarily opens at the center of the vortex in the shape of that 5-point star, and Horus is the one that comes through the silver gate. So that was interesting because we clearly see Anubis, and then the coin, the British coin, the new one, the security system is called ISIS. Isn't that interesting? And also, the date, right after the summer solstice is where this gate occurs, this silver gate. I did a video on that because I thought that maybe, obviously, the Antichrist would be knowing about any portals to heaven that he probably would exploit. And I thought maybe, that would be a time that we might get raptured. There was a special opening or gate there. This is an image here of Isis. And notice that she has the sun. She's got horns, which kind of represent the horns of Taurus. And the sun is in the middle. So that's pointing to, where in between Gemini and Taurus, the sun crossing of the Milky Way and the ecliptic. So that was interesting that that's happening there. Here's Sirius. Also, the Brexit negotiations, since they left, it didn't get started again until like the day after Nissan won. So I think they're really highlighting 2017. So this is the period began when they served the withdrawal notice, and the negotiations officially began like just a few days before the summer solstice. So right before the summer solstice, when this conjunction is occurring. So I thought that was really interesting, how that's all kind of tying together with what's going on. Here's some more information about the Gemini-Taurus nexus. You see the boat there, and this is the underworld has been associated with the galactic equator ecliptic crossings. And there's, this is the silver gate is the one between Gemini and Taurus. And then the golden gate is the one between Sagittarius and Scorpio. Now, the last part that I wanted to mention was that if you look at the very last part with the coin on it, I was trying to figure out what that meant for the longest time, and I think this was really interesting. I think this could be it. It's pointing to the angle. It would be 180 degrees, as it correlates with a 360-degree coin bisected in various lines. So you can see it there, and especially in the context that the new British coin has the 12 sides. If you do 180 degrees on those 12 sides, it's clearly saying 6 months or half of the year. Destruction continues to happen. I'll put a link so that you can see the whole video. But the next big thing that stood out was this part. That was a Scarab beetle, which I've talked about before, representing the sign of Cancer, the unclean animal. So it happened right after the destruction of this mosque. The Antichrist still appears to not be fully awake at this point, but the mother of this child, I think she looks like she's wearing a burqa here, is in despair, and then we see this beetle hovering for a while on his face. So I'm linking that to the month of Cancer, which we're in now. So I'm on high alert to see if anything will happen that could be associated with this now. You know, if you just Google Scarab beetle sun, then you'll see many ancient Egyptian art holding the sun, and that's representative of the sign of Cancer. So I think as soon as he comes out of this portal is when I guess he really gets his power. And then you'll see that he starts fishing. Notice the fish here. So those fish are this species here, and it's called the sheep's head fish. And it's found in the coastal waters along the western Atlantic, but the greatest concentration is around southwest Florida. And then there's something called Sheep's Head Bay in Brooklyn, New York. So that was interesting. I know a lot of people have been having dreams and stuff about New York, but it also looks like a prisoner fish or something. It has stripes. And then you'll just notice lots of destruction happening for the rest of the video. And as it moves along, he finally awakens. Yes, I think this is where he awakens. So notice that as soon as he awakens fully, the church crumbles. So that was interesting. And then everything just kind of continues to fall apart as he moves along it. But the very last part that I really wanted to point out, notice that the sun is now here. And notice this here. This is the tail of the scorpion. So that would fall under Scorpio. So if we start at June 21st, the day of the summer solstice, when that gate happens, when we see the hair that led us to Brexit, and we add the 6 months, we end up right where that video ended, at the tail of Scorpio. And remember, the boat was coming the opposite direction, so it was coming, it would be flowing down, and we could see the tail on the left of the boat as it was coming down this way. And this is between Scorpio and Sagittarius, which is the position of the Golden Gate. So that's probably when he's going to be definitely fully revealed, and he'll be deceiving everybody.